Are you running an e-commerce brand, or are you working in an e-commerce brand, but you struggle to get your ad creatives to work and to convert right away? Then this might be the single most important video that you will have to watch, where I share the exact strategy that I use to come up with scripts that are performing right out of the gate. Quick little context on my person. If you're new to this channel, my name is Marcus Tanquila. I co-own 2 e-commerce brands in the supplement and skincare niche, and I teach over 50 brands to scale to multiple 7 figures without hiring an agency. So without further ado, let's jump right in. The very important thing here is that ultimately what we do when we're scripting ad creatives is that we're selling our product, obviously, right? But to sell products, what it is ultimately, even though we see videos and we see video ads and static ads, it is copywriting, right? And this is something that has been done for years, right? Now, basically 100 years that we have recorded history of copywriting. Also in my way to getting to a point where I was able to write scripts and to write scripts that perform for UGC ads or founder ads, or it's not even only about scripts, it's also about landing pages, product pages, right? Emails, email flows. It all comes down to copywriting. So in my journey there, I found one exercise that I want to share with you today, which is this one here, which I found through Peter Kell. Credits to him, amazing guy, doing VSLs in e-commerce and spending hundreds of millions and making hundreds of millions in revenue. So what I learned through him is essentially to pre-arrange my skeleton, the skeleton of my copy, right? And it's kind of like this exercise, like you do it before you even start to write any scripts, right? So this is where it starts, and it starts with research essentially. So I'll just quickly walk you through it, because ultimately is that I want to create rapport first. And this is a very important concept. Essentially, we're not having one sale, right? We're not selling just a product, but we have to sell people through different states of mind. That's one of the biggest shifts that I had to learn, right? Which is the first sale is actually to create rapport, right? So this is where the customer, or let's say the prospect, understands, okay, this is for me, right? This is me. What they're talking about, I have that problem, right? I can resonate with it. And it's important and it's relevant for me to continue to watch, right? Or to continue to read. So we're selling step by step. This is very, very important. You have to break it down into simple and easy to understand steps. So ultimately we will have multiple sales, I call them. But the first thing that I want to sell is essentially the rapport, right? So someone that I hook in, right? With a specific hook that represents a pain point, I want to show them that this is for you, right? This is relevant information for you. So keep on listening. With this, I sell them the next step, right? So which means I sell them the next step of, or the next second, the next 5, 10 seconds, minute, right? So that they internally go like, okay, this is interesting. Let's keep on watching. Then I want them to understand the real root cause of their problem, right? Because in many cases, people don't really understand what the real root cause is, and they're using solutions that are just working on the surface level. This is a pattern that I see many, many times. So in order to really use that for us, I want to understand what is the real root cause of your problem, right? Because if I can educate them on this, first of all, it triggers goodwill because they will have understood something, right? And then I can also position my product in a completely different way, right? Because I will tie it to the real root cause rather than all the other solutions that are not working because they're not really targeting the root cause. So the next step then is to present the solution, right? The solution to the real root cause, which is the type of solution. And then once people understood, okay, so I need to get rid of this real root cause, and this is the real solution, then I present my product and the mechanism, so how my product essentially solves this root cause, right? And ultimately, obviously, I present the offer and I have a call to action so that they click or whatever I want them to do, right? So let's make this a little bit more specific. So this is something that, it's very very simple, but it's so powerful. And I want to show you this with an example. So let's say we have a physical problem, which is acne and breakouts, okay? So first we have a physical problem, which you can see obviously, or you can feel, like you have the, you can clearly point out, okay, this is acne breakouts, this is, it could be knee pain, right? Or joint pain in general. So whatever it is that your product is solving, whatever problem it is, you have a physical side and then you have an emotional side, right? So what emotions is the physical problem triggering, right? So in this case, it's somebody's feeling unattractive. If they have acne and breakouts, and they can't get them under control, they might feel unattractive or less attractive. They might feel anxiety when meeting other people, so they might develop social anxiety. They might have lower self-esteem and lower self-confidence, right? So this is important to understand, because the better we understand this, the more rapport we are creating, right, with people. So if somebody has this physical problem and they see, okay, they're talking about exactly the feelings, the stuff that I feel, the emotions that I feel, then this is relevant to me, right? So I better listen, because they might have a solution to that, right? So obviously, like how to get to those emotional problems, I have other videos as well on my channel. I will have future videos as well talking about this more in detail, but I want you to understand that concept for now. So you can obviously research this through reviews of customers, existing customers, through reviews of competitors, through forums. So there's a lot of different ways to get to this information. Then I want to understand, okay, what is the real root cause of the problem? And this involves a little bit of digging deeper and really trying to understand what are potential root causes of this problem, right? So in this example, let's say the real root cause is clogged pores. Those clogged pores, they come from an unbalanced skin routine, or can come from an unbalanced skin routine. The users of too many products, too many different products, the users of skincare products of different brands with formulas that are not designed to work together, but actually clog pores and make the acne even worse, right? So this is also a pattern that you see if you're not using the right solution, because you did not understand the root cause or nobody told you about the root cause, then you might actually make it worse, right? Also, there are some other ideas here of overuse of misuse of product, incompatible ingredients. We talked about this, pH imbalance. So you could go more into detail. The only important thing is that it has to make sense and it has to be easily digestible, right? So you cannot go too far into scientific terms and stuff, because we have to remember, like, people, they go like we scroll through Instagram or Facebook or wherever we are, we're not at the highest brain capacity, right? So we need to make it digestible and very easy to understand. But there's always a chain of events that happens that leads to this physical problem, right? So we need to identify what is that chain and where does the chain start, right? So the next thing then is obviously, how can the root problem be solved? In this case, simplifying the skincare routine with products that are perfectly balanced and formulated to work together and help the skin with unclogging pores, right? So to strap away all of these different formulas that are actually making it worse, but simplifying the routine so that the skin can heal itself, essentially, right? So then at this point, we sold them on the solution to the real root cause. So you see what we did. Now we started with a problem, right? So hooking them in with a problem, but now we directed the attention towards a specific type of solution, right? Because that makes sense now, because we understood that the real root cause is all of this confusion when using or applying different kind of skincare products in this case, right? So now the attention and the interest is there, and people want to have what product solves this, right? Like, how can I solve this? I know what I need to solve, but how can I solve it? So this then gets us to the next point, which is ultimately the mechanism. I'll just show you a couple of other things beforehand. So what's important here is that you have other known and popular solutions as well. Exactly, in this case, ignores this here, but or let's say ignore the Botox one, but the creams. So essentially what we can do now that people understood the real root cause is that Obviously, not all of the, or most of the solutions that I've tried out before and that did not work, they don't work. It makes sense now that they didn't work because they're not fighting the root cause, right? So this is something, for example, in some cases you have things like you can fight certain skin issues only when you really get into deeper skin barriers, right? Or skin layers. And some or most of the solutions just work on the surface, right? So this would be one idea, for example, how you can differentiate your solution from all the other solutions, right? So let's get to the physical benefits. Now, when we look at like everything that we do in life, essentially is, or every decision that we make, everything that we decide to do or not to do, we're driven by, either pain or pleasure. So it's very important, like we started with pain, obviously, in this case, but it's important to understand what does pleasure look like, right? So what's on the other side of the transformation? How does the physical, like what's the physical transformation and what's the emotional transformation, right? Because the better we understand this, the better we can also then show people how their life looks like, essentially, after they have used our product, essentially. So then the next step is to show the mechanism, and this is where we introduce our product, essentially, right? So the question is, how does your product make sure the root cause is removed? And in this case, we have a simplified and clean skincare routine that is formulated to help the skin remove unclogged pores. It also removes the need for any other skincare products, right? So it's very important, obviously, that our product has a mechanism and ties into this root cause of the problem. Because once you have that connection, it makes sense for people. They're already looking for this type of product, and then it makes sense for those people to say, okay, this is actually something that I should try. Obviously, in your script, then you undermine this with, social proof of other people that have used this, with a guarantee, for example. Like those are specifics when it comes to script writing and writing the copy at the end. But this is the backbone of all of this, right? And then what also helps, either if you do like a VSL or even a UGC or founder story or a landing page, is that you think of an authority figure, right? Like who would you trust when he talks about this, right? And in this case, for example, it's a dermatologist or it's a founder actually that has had this specific issue, right? Of acne and breakouts, and found a way to essentially solve it, found the root cause, solved the root cause, and now helped many, many other people to solve it as well, right? With their products. So this is a very, very important exercise here at the end of the day. You see, now we presented the product and the mechanism, which is the third sale, and we present the offer and the call to action at the end, which is the fourth sale. So when you break down a creative, this is actually what happens, right? So I always think of the internal mind of my prospects. There has to be like multiple checks, right? Where they say, okay, this makes sense. I go to the next step. If this is not solved, they won't go to the next step, right? So they won't even bother what you're talking about in the next stuff, in the next part of the creative, and they will just skip, go to the next one, right? So this is very important, and I hope this helping you to write better scripts, to write better copy in general, just with front loading this research and really having your master sheet, as I call it, where you always can come back to, either if you write a new UGC script, or if you write a landing page copy, or you want to write an email, that you always come back to this, right? And this has really served me well. I've also served a lot of my clients, a lot of the founders and teams, in-house teams that I work with, to produce better copy, right? So yeah, that's it. I hope that was helpful. If you want to take things further and you want to scale your e-commerce brand, be it a skincare brand, hair care brand, supplements brand, we have tons of brands now that we've helped and that have seen incredible success stories, scaling up to 500, 600K a month from almost nothing. So if you want to learn more about this, there's a couple of links below in the description. There's a school community where you can get some free stuff and just learn a little bit more. There's also a link to a page where you can just see the whole program that we offer. There's also a link directly to book a call with me and my team, just to see how we can show you essentially what does a scaling roadmap look like for you, right? There's no pressure in it. Like we also work only with brands where we see a fit. So yeah, there's really no risk to it. You will get a roadmap essentially on what are the biggest bottleneck in your business and how would we solve them. All right, so if that's interesting to you, just check the bio or the description, and I hope that was helpful, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye, take care.